We are live. Hey, what's going on, everyone? There's a lack of light because that light's dying. Oh shit, whatever. I think the dying light. Hi everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode, the fourth episode.
We know what we're doing.
Of the world's smartest people discuss. Today we're going to be talking about the Odessa shooting and Respawn Entertainment shitting all over their player base and calling them freeloaders. Who wants to introduce the first topic here? Who knows the most about it?
I know very little about the Odessa shooting, and I'm introducing the other topic, so...
Okay. I have very substantial information about the shooting, but enough to introduce it.
You have very substantial?
No, just
okay.
Enough to get by.
That's the opposite of...
You're funny.
Thanks.
So, around August 31st, a man got into a U.S. postal truck, I believe, and drove from, was it Odessa to Midland or Midland?
I think it was in between Midland and Odessa. And
just pretty much started opening fire on the public for, it was a shooting spree altogether. 8 fatalities, 25 injured. He ended up, being shot down during a police shootout. And that is all I have to say right now.
That's pretty much all I know too. Besides, I do know that he was turned down to purchase a weapon.
Yeah, he illegally obtained weapons.
Yeah, so he tried to buy a weapon legally. And what was it? Did he have a crime on his record? What?
I think he had a felony.
Yeah, something came up, I guess. And
it was a mental health thing.
Was it? It was a background check thing, though, right?
It was a background check.
And this was in Texas, so
one of the least strict states.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about here. I was hoping that maybe we could have like our Dan in here, who's probably going to be a little more
anti-gun,
just hard leaning on one side, because I feel like you're going to be hard leaning into pro-gun.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
So I'm kind of down the middle. Okay.
I think I should be able to own an orbital satellite that could fire down hellfire if I could afford it.
Do we want to do anything else about this specific instance before we get into the hot smoking gun debate?
I mean, my teacher lived in Odessa. She said that's scary as hell to know. She moved basically 2 weeks prior to the shooting happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she knows people that were on the streets basically walking around when that was happening. How terrifying that shit had to have been.
How big is Odessa exactly? Like, we can...
I don't know shit about Texas. So it could be a tiny little town, it could be huge. I don't know.
Population 111,000 as of 2017. So that's pretty fucking big city.
Yeah, it's a
I mean, what do we have here?
We're
bigger than that.
We're way bigger than that.
Yeah, okay. So it's a good sized town though. I mean, it's not like okay. So yeah, I don't know. That's pretty.
And I don't know. One thing I could point out is it always seems to happen in these smaller communities. I mean, it's not a tiny community, but a big part of why it seemed to get as far as it was because he was in a vehicle, and the police were unable to respond correctly at first.
The one that was at the nightclub in Florida, though, that was in like Miami, right?
Yeah, but that was in what, 2014? Something.
No, I know.
I'm not saying it's always a small town.
And then there was the Paris attack, which I think was actually an ISIS-based thing.
But these are
and Las Vegas.
See, those are different. The Las Vegas shooting wasn't more along the same lines as the Odessa shooting, whereas the nightclub shooting, I can't remember the name. It was a attack on a gay nightclub. That was the point.
Yeah. I get. Okay, but what?
Those are
how
different
you,
motives.
Yeah, but
The Las Vegas
all of them
shooters,
are-
the Odessa shooter. I mean, these are guys who are basically they want to rack up a kill count before they die.
Yeah.
all of them are different motives, in my opinion. And I don't think.
I think there's a type. I think there are people that are doing the mass shootings for religious reasons. I think there are people that are doing mass shootings because, like I said, they want to kill count before they go out. There are guys that are just fucking nuts. Like the one guy who was just rejected by women and was like, "Well, I'm gonna kill a bunch of women." What's his name? His name's not important. I don't remember where it happened, but he had the manifesto and all that stuff.
Oh, you're talking about New Zealand?
Pretty sure that was here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the subscribe to PewDiePie one.
Oh
No, I didn't even know about that.
Oh, you didn't know about that? That was really big deal. It was in Auckland. What? I could be wrong. I think it was in Auckland, New Zealand, but I could be wrong.
They
about
fired
that.
at like a church.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
shit.
shot up it was a
Oh,
Jewish
okay.
temple, right? Or am I wrong about that? Yes, it was. They shot up
I
a
remember.
church.
Yeah,
And he was saying anti-Semitic stuff, and he had a manifesto, and he was also screaming, "Subscribe to PewDiePie." Which fucking dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, right. Like
How could this guy, dude? I mean, PewDiePie cannot get a fucking break. Sorry about that.
I mean,
Well,
I guess
I
it just goes to show the lack of empathy he had for what was going on. First
Oh,
thing
yeah.
running through his head was a meme. You know?
Yeah, no, it would.
I
was-
don't think it was a meme though. I think that was for attention. That was like him saying subscribe to PewDiePie because he was trying to stream it on YouTube, right?
Mm.
And people kept putting the stream up to or like re-uploading it. So the algorithm is going to catch that subscribe to PewDiePie and it's going to attach it to the subscribe to PewDiePie.
Oh yeah.
Like
Trend.
yeah, like in Google's algorithm.
But there are definitely different. There are different types of mass shooters, and I think the Odessa one was literally just a suicide by cop. Let me take as many people with me as I can.
That's really yeah. I mean, that really is what it sounds like. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
real motive. He just started driving. There was no specific target, just straight up firing. And at the end, I mean, he really wanted to like express a motive. He could have just let the cops take him, you know?
Yeah, and the like the Las Vegas shooter. I mean, dude was a good old boy. He was shooting up the country concert because it was massively populated, not because he hates country music.
Mhm.
So your belief is that the specific shootings, their motive is that they want to be the top ranking on the leaderboard of
There are
shooters.
definitely. I guarantee.
I mean, I get that. I get that too. But
I do. I believe there are leaderboard killers. I think there are motive-based killers, like
if there's-
religious-based.
But if there's like a
unfortunately.
higher than 50% chance that there is, most of the time when there's a mass shooter, they get killed either by the cops or they kill themselves. Like it's like a very low percentage that actually see a trial. What is the point of doing it? Like what's the point of their existence? If you would ask Josh.
They don't have a point. They want to be number one. They don't care if they make it out. They just want to have the highest number attached to their name.
It could just be the adrenaline
But
rush.
then they're dead.
I'm shooting a gun, you know? Ooh.
Yeah, there's people that.
See, that's like what Josh would think is like,
And
even though
that's-
I'm dead, my name carries on. So I just
Well,
wanted
it is.
to tie that together real quick in case he's watching. You think very much like a serial murderer.
There are people. There are people that's names because of terrible things they've done will forever be in history books. Genghis Khan, Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin.
Those are different though.
Yeah.
Those are different and not that different. I mean,
No, I'm not saying that they're good.
The
That's what you're implying.
the
But
Columbine shooting. I don't know those kids' names, but there are people that do.
I'm like fading off this screen a little bit. Okay.
There are people. There are people that 100% know the names of the kids from the Columbine
Oh
shooting.
yeah.
But I mean, when I say Columbine shooting, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Marilyn
Yes.
Manson. I mean, these are serial killers. There are people that don't give a shit that their name is remembered for being evil. They'll still do it. They don't. That's a motive for them.
I mean, especially even if you catch these shooters alive, they're just gonna revel in what they did, and they're just gonna be known for that. And
Don't kill themselves in prison.
Absolutely. I mean,
or get killed in prison.
Yeah. So what's the solution?
And that's where you transition into the gun debate.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the solution?
What is the solution? I don't have a solution. I mean, as someone who is very pro-gun, like I said, I truly believe if I have the means to, I should be able to buy a suborbital fucking satellite that can rain hellfire on the fucking planet if I wanted to. I can afford it. That'd be fucking a multi-billion-dollar.
Anyone should be able to do that because people like
I
Jeff
mean, people
Bezos
can do that unless he's just like, oh well, Walmart's gone,
and that doesn't really. That's not really.
That is my right as an American.
That's like a ordinance.
Yeah,
like
that's not. I'm sure
that's more of a jest. I'm not 100% serious.
Yeah. I feel like that's not illegal because, I mean, maybe by the UN standards.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I don't think the United States is like, we have a law against that. I mean, we might. I don't know.
You can't own a 50 cal. I mean,
no, I mean putting a fucking super laser into orbit.
We can't own armed drones. Civilians can't in any way, shape, or form.
That's in space. At that point, that's not in the United States.
Hey, you know what? You're not
it's
wrong.
In orbit.
You're not wrong.
We don't have dictation over
space laws.
Don't talk to Trump then.
There are laws.
We have space marines now.
There are laws. There are laws on satellites though. There's like I feel like I'm just not facing the camera at all, but that's okay. There are laws on. Okay, so I don't know how it works exactly, but I know like certain countries won't let you orbit so much over them. Like Russia is very stern about it. I don't remember. I heard about this like one time.
North Korea is very anti-stay out of our orbit and shit like that.
Yeah. So I heard about this like one time, but there is something that like. So what do? They orbit at the same rate that the Earth turns, or how does that work? I don't understand that.
I don't know. I'm not an astrophysicist.
But for satellites to be effective, they've got to be over us, right? So they have to
position.
Yeah, they have to.
I mean, it could just be orbiting, and then like it just gets sent a certain coordinates, and then it just kind of steers itself to said coordinates or whatever, and it just,
yeah. But if it's facing the other side of the Earth, then
although this is not actually what we're discussing.
Yeah, I mean,
this is just
this
is fun trail.
Yeah. Okay. So guns.
Back to real things that
All right. So we can just openly say what our feelings are on the Second Amendment. We are all Americans, so I'm pro Second Amendment.
I don't know. I feel like with the way times goes, like and changes and our progression with firearms are going nowadays, I'm not saying we should completely take it away, but we should probably relook at the Second Amendment, probably put more restrictions, or probably maybe reword it specifically so it's not so vague. Right to bear arms, anyone can just argument that. Maybe if you just put like a more specified thing on what you're having in regards to a firearm, people won't get so hussy and about it. And I can own whatever assault rifle.
The point of the Second Amendment is to keep the government in check.
Yes, so if we can protect ourselves,
we can form militias. We can the standing military is not something that should exist. The way we have a standing military and have had one since World War II, we haven't had a military be disbanded since World War II.
That is true.
And that shouldn't exist. That shouldn't be something that we have. We should have a standing army, but we shouldn't have army, navy, fucking Marines, all that shit. That should not exist. That should not be something. But America has become a world power that, to the point where we decide other countries.
This is actually something I wanted to get to based on. Okay, so my specific thoughts on like firearms in general is I think it would be great if no one was able to own firearms at all. I think that would, because it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter that much. Like it's, I mean, I've shot guns. I think it's fun. I'm not like against shooting guns and like as a sport or
Hunting.
as having home defense and things like that. But
The
like
second
places like Norway, they have completely outlawed guns and they never have shootings.
the population of countries like Norway are what?
I get that. There's a population thing. But that's even less the problem than we just have a lot of guns already out there. They never had to do a buyback because they were illegal almost from the point that firearms became able to be mass produced by a factory. So we have so many guns out there. There's no way that we'll ever get all of them. And there's going to be, and the people that, and I mean, I know people talk about this a lot, but it's going to sound a little cliche, but the people that are going to still have the guns are the ones that aren't following the law because they're not going to turn in their guns.
Exactly.
The law-abiding citizens will, and
it's
the
naturally just
criminals
gonna go,
won't. Yeah.
Guns are just going to go to the black market. It's just. I mean,
so it's kind of one of the problems though is that we're at a point, and it's the same thing with the military. We're at a point where we're beyond just outlawing guns outright. That's not a realistic solution. It would never
it's
work.
Not. It's not even possible. And one thing you said, still allowing them for hunting, home defense. That's not what the Second Amendment exists for. It's not you can hunt law, or you can defend your home law.
I wasn't like referring to the Second Amendment. I was just saying that I enjoy
in general
guns, and I think that people should be able to have them for those purposes. I don't care that much about the Second Amendment personally. I'm not like one that like constantly, or like not even constantly. I don't really bring that up, and I don't bring the Constitution into my arguments all that often because I'm not that familiar with it for one thing, and I'm not like a.
The Bill of Rights is one of the most defining things about this country, and what sets us apart, and what has made other countries that have formed after us emulate us.
Yeah, but I mean, we stole a lot of our ideology from like other countries.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically Britain, because I mean that's where our that's where the United States originated from, was European settlers from
that was the main
Britain.
point.
So
Break away.
Yeah, I mean we went beyond what the colonial.
Well, we're way beyond what we should. I mean, federally shouldn't exist. There shouldn't be a problem with. The federal prison is a joke. Federal citations beyond. Other than if you are, say, a criminal that goes from state to state to state to state, I shouldn't be charged with a federal crime for committing one crime in California. I mean, that's a states' rights thing, but that's also kind of the point of the Second Amendment. That's the point of gun ownership. And like you said, there's no way to ban guns in general. If it happens, like you said, only people that are going to have them illegally and be criminals are going to.
It's a very similar problem, as I was saying, with where our military is kind of spread out everywhere. We've got Navy bases, we've got Air Force bases, we've got different military bases across the globe, and they are active. And there's a lot of people that rely on that income and that lifestyle.
Most definitely.
And that's just not going anywhere. Like that's what we are now. And it's in the same way, the United States having guns as we do is where we are now. I think there is like a little bit bigger of a debate to be had about people being able to acquire guns based on background checks and stuff, because this one that we're talking about now, yes, he acquired a gun illegally, and that's how he managed to commit such a heinous act. But a lot of them do acquire guns legally.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, they do.
and there could definitely be, a requirement at the time of purchasing it that you have to have a on the spot, like you have to take a mental health exam. Like, I don't know how that would work.
How that would work, that would make the gun industry a lot more money. Because now you have to employ every mom and pop shop now has to employ a psychologist or
It would
refer
lose them money.
No, not Americans. Not Americans. I mean, it'll lose the mom and pop shops money, but what will happen is gun manufacturers will bump up the price, and especially on ammunition, guns, they'll bump the price on all of that. And there's no way in hell Americans are going to stop buying guns. That doesn't exist. Hunting that's not a really foreseeable future. We're Californians, so the most of the people we know don't own guns. I mean, let's just be realistic. We come at it from kind of a different viewpoint, but shit, I mean, just being in Las Vegas, even still kind of a liberal city, that conservative state, I mean, there's fucking people walking up and down the strip with fucking guns. I mean, you can't put the California mindset on
the rest of the world.
The rest of the world. I mean,
I don't think that's just a California mindset, though.
Okay, California and New York.
No, that's not it. I mean, you're generalizing a lot. Like, that's not the whole. And I mean, as media gets a hold of it more, they're actually like convincing people even more to, be like that all across the United States, because there's still, old people, generally speaking, that watch, TV, watch like cable TV, and most of the cable TV programs are anti-gun. And the media is very good at convincing people of stuff. So you are starting to see more and more people, trend toward maybe not exactly being completely anti-gun, but being more like mindful, at least, of the consequences.
These recent outbreak of shootings.
Talk a little louder.
It was these recent outbreak of shootings that people would want to buy more guns, just because they're fearful that they too might have to.
I think certain people,
there are hoarders. That's just a part of every one of these kind of shootings, unfortunately.
I think that gun manufacturers actually do benefit from all of this quite a bit because of some things like that. And then whenever we talk about the stories and the other psychopaths that even have the ability to think about doing that themselves, now they're thinking about going and getting a gun and doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So, which just goes back into the cycle. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not against guns completely. I think they serve a purpose. I mean, they've been invented. There's no way to uninvent them.
Yeah.
They're a tool, and they're meant to be used as a tool. Unfortunately, the United States has made them the most effective killing tool.
They are meant to be a killing tool, though. I mean, that's
the whole purpose.
Initially, yes, they were, and then they were transformed into muskets. Muskets were primarily used for hunting. They were not meant as warfare. I mean,
I don't know about that.
No, they primarily were for hunting.
Cannons,
yes,
were
cannons
meant
are
that was the
specifically
first
for
gun.
for naval battles.
I mean, not just that, they would use them on land and shoot them straight into.
But we have evolved.
Armies.
Mm-hmm. We have evolved them from being able to fight in battles. Battles in war didn't used to be sweeping building from building to building. and destroying
No.
and decimating cities.
I did kind of want to talk about war a little bit. Like it's so
War has evolved guns
when you
way
think,
beyond.
yeah, when you think
Oh,
about the
yeah.
tools of war that were used before, like if you think back to like just like medieval or even like
First,
the
Man,
Greeks
yeah, right.
and like all that kind of stuff. Like they like the most advanced thing they really had was like in medieval was like a crossbow,
oh yeah,
which is the closest thing to a gun, which is like a precursor in a way.
or even like a catapult. Or
But
like,
all those things, especially swords and such, were so brutal. They were such spears, swords,
Oh, I'd rather
like-
get shot than stabbed any day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they're so brutal that like wars want to end more quickly because of just the ability to be mobile and things like that have also changed. But armories were a lot smaller as well. Like
and it wasn't like
the,
most of the
A
time too,
10,000
they weren't trained soldiers.
Well, and
Some
then
of them were
yeah,
just, like-
10,000 a 10,000 unit host was beyond impressive.
Yeah,
I mean, now
that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
you
that's-
would consider to see that from like empires.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and even a lot of empires wouldn't have, an army that big. So, but with guns nowadays, they're so simple, and it almost feels like you're not doing anything. You're so far away. You can be so far away. It doesn't leave a very visible wound. I mean, depending on what kind of gun you're using and how far away you are and things like that, what kind of round you're using, it does vary. But generally speaking, if you're just, shooting someone with a bullet from a distance, you're not really going to see much. You're just going to see them drop. Whereas before, you had to be up pretty close. Even with a crossbow, you had to be up pretty close to where you would see like a pretty graphic,
Especially
if you shot
if-
someone in the face or even in the leg, like
They're not dying
Yeah, it's-
immediately. Like you still have to
no,
run
yeah,
up.
they're gonna be like,
finish
oh,
Yeah.
my leg,
and just,
So,
it would make you think twice. I guess you could say like
If I had to choose both being in a part of a force that was invading somewhere today or 100 years ago, I would choose today, because I know if I fuck up and I'm gonna die, it's gonna be quick.
well, 100 years ago would be like
Would
after
be
the
like-
Revolutionary.
Well, I'm not
War.
even talking. Yeah, even then, I mean, 100 years ago would be World War One.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, even
then
that
World War I,
evolution.
yeah, like gases was being used. That's like Jesus.
Humans are fucked up. I mean,
yeah, like,
let's just
God, like
let's just address it. Humans are fucked up, and in my opinion, I should be able to have the right to defend myself with some of the fucked up tools we have.
I mean, think about it, we're the only species that thinks of ways to kill ourselves, like each other, the quickest,
no,
the
we're
most
not.
efficient.
I mean, things like that. Yeah.
yeah,
but,
like,
but other apes do that kind of shit.
yeah,
too,
but I mean, like
they're
on like a
very-
higher like technological level.
Well, yeah, we're the only ones able to create that at all, so you can't really say we're the only that thinks that way. If other things had that kind of technology, we don't know what they would do with it. Dolphins might be more fucking deranged than us.
That's
well,
true.
They,
I mean,
they make sex toys out of
I was
otters.
gonna say, yeah, dolphins are the only.
I mean,
mammal,
humans
like,
do
other
worse shit than
animals.
that.
I don't make sex toys out of otters.
Some humans.
They probably do.
I don't think all dolphins fuck otters.
Probably not.
Maybe all dolphins.
Not the attractive
All
dolphins,
otters
because
fuck
they can get all the
dolphins.
dolphin babes they want.
Anywho, I mean, is there a lot more to talk about on this?
I think
that-
we're
I
pretty
think that-
divided.
I
but
have
on
no
the
real
same
stance,
side.
Yeah, like,
I think there's
mean,
a-
I'm kind of with Tony on this one.
I want the last point I wanted to make on like the difference of the weaponry of the days is I think that there's a little bit of a distance emotionally when using a gun as compared to using a different weapon that's more, you can see like what's happening.
Yeah, but when I get broken into by the tweaker that's fucking fucked up and probably has HIV, I want my distance.
No, I'm not talking about actual spatial distance.
That's part of it though. Is defending my home with a knife versus defending my home with a gun is.
But if you're defending your home, you're probably using a shotgun. In which case, it's going to be like one of the most brutal of the.
I don't give a shit. I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
Oh, I get that too. But also, I'm not talking about defending your home. I'm talking about just war.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it's become, as far as war goes, which is the reason I would argue it's the reason that guns are the way they are. Why they're so advanced. Why they're.
Well, I mean, there's kids sitting on fucking boats right now, flying drones, killing people, and fucking the military makes it sound like it's Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That one is pretty. I mean,
That's-
you can just watch the videos on YouTube later.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there, you see.
And you hear these
Bullets
kids
flying.
fucking celebrating, like, oh, well, let's get some beers tonight and shit. Like, what are you? You just killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
this one where they fired at a truck, killed a few civilians. They're like, oh, well, at least we got them. Haha, you can hear them in the back. Like, it's just, there's a huge disconnect. They're not even there.
But I
Yeah.
do think that is a contributing factor in the mass shootings is that there's not really an emotional thing. There's not compassion.
These are people without empathy.
Yeah. And when they are able to get their hands on things like that, I don't know. And I mean, we could talk about violence video games. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
That
I mean, I don't want to dive too much into that, but if I could just address it really quick, I don't think that video games are necessarily like the root of all evil or anything, but I do think that violence in video games, I think it contributes to it a little bit. I know a lot of people will think that's like a Republican.
I vehemently disagree with you. I couldn't disagree with you more. There have been so many studies published about how that does not actually desensitize.
There's been studies that say the opposite too, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Like,
say-
it's hard to very generalize it that way because to us, we know it's a video game, but to some
Exactly.
to some
people that
it's
already
just
have
like-
mental
exactly it's like
problems.
a mental
to them that's-
disconnect.
Yeah, and
It's
to
just,
them that's like, oh wow, just killing all these people like it's nothing. I don't know.
because it'd be
it's-
like, oh, let's say this person like plays Call of Duty, and then just as a hobby like shoots guns, thinks it's just like, oh, it's kind of like the same thing, and if there is that mental just offness or like lack of empathy, they could just go out and be like, let's see what it's like, just start firing, without a care for the world.
That's the difference. What you're discussing is a person who already is probably
Exactly.
a sociopath or some other mental disorder. I don't know all those.
Mhm.
How that brain is affected by video games, and
Exactly.
Yeah, well, those are the people
And that's the
doing the
example
mass
being
shootings in the
used.
first place.
Yeah, but
in that regard, I
not
can
saying
say
that
sure.
like we should attack video games.
No,
Those aren't the like you said. Those aren't the root cause.
it's the same. But it's the same thing with being able to get a gun. We should. Yeah, and it should be the parents'
I think
responsibility.
it's harder.
Yes.
I think it's harder to get a gun. Harder to get a video game sometimes than it is to fucking get a gun in America, at least.
What?
Dude,
I mean, no,
what-
unless
when-
you're under 18.
That is
Literally, unless you're under. Because for
No,
me, like,
when-
I couldn't walk into
To get a
GameStop.
video game?
Dude, when I was, do you not remember being under 17?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
would
like-
not sell it to you.
But I
And
mean-
when your parents would go in, they would grill your parents.
That never happened to me.
That happened to me
That would
every
happen to me.
time.
That,
I
they
would
would
buy
say
video
That's got to
games.
be an age difference.
They would
dude.
say like
It
literally
must
like
be.
I remember one time I went in to go get a Gears of War game, right? And I was like 13, 14, and my mom's like, "You want this game?" She's like, "It says it's rated M." And I go, "Yeah, it's fine." And the cashier was like, "Okay, ma'am, I need to let you know there's intense blood, gore,
Gore.
violence in this
Yeah.
game, cussing."
Wow.
And she's like, "Oh no, sorry, son, you got to get a different game." And I couldn't play it. I couldn't play it. I had to play it at my cousin's house. you
How
know?
old were you when you? Because now you're
Dude,
about
I
to be
remember.
21.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you had that experience?
I was like 14, 15. Yeah.
So this is. Yeah, I was already in my 20s.
Yeah, I was 16 when I Red Dead 1.
So-
Red Dead 1. They grilled my mom.
So
Uh,
you're 25 now.
Yeah, I'm 25.
So you're 16. You said so 9 years.
9 years.
So I would have been an adult still. So it's just like, I guess when that whole thing started happening, I was already an adult.
Yeah,
That's crazy to me.
Dude,
I mean,
it
that
was. Yeah, I just remember being so fucking disappointed every time they would actually. And I'm glad
you can go over to your friend's house.
No,
everyone has
Back
that
to what I
friend.
said earlier.
Everyone had that friend whose parent didn't give a shit,
or your
yeah.
cousin or something. I was like,
Yeah.
hey man, I'll get it for you.
I don't-
you know.
I don't think that it's harder than getting a gun, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, there's a lot of kids that can just walk into their dad's room and get in the gun.
yeah, that's probably true too.
But
I
to be
mean,
fair, like that's on the parents to
That's
tell
on
the
the
kids where
parents.
the gun's
This
at.
is 100.
Because like
That's
to
why
be
we're-
true, my parents have a gun.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's at.
it's
at
the
all.
same thing.
And they won't tell me. I
Why don't
mean,
they
you
should have
know,
a gun safe.
they do. I mean, they have it somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's a handgun, you just use a handgun.
That's what it
Yeah,
is. That's what it is.
Little lockbox thing. Okay. But it's also on the parents to
It's probably under their
allow
bed.
allow their mentally unstable kid to.
But at the
Yes,
same
this
time,
Play
is-
like,
violent
how do they
video
know
games.
their kids like?
They should know. They should know.
I agree with you. You
And
should.
I hate when
responsibility
you watch
is pushed
these
off
documentaries.
parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, you watch these documentaries and the parents go, he was such a sweet kid, but there were signs, or like a lot of times, sometimes they won't even say there were signs, but it's like, dude, come on. You knew, like you had to know.
No, I agree with
So
you.
you think it's like a
You're not a
denial?
good parent if you didn't know. You weren't involved enough
I agree with you.
if you didn't know.
But enough of that.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's
Respawn.
get to this second topic here, and then we'll go into the recap stuff that we.
All right. So time of filming, this is September 7th. About a week or so
I can
ago.
cut anything out.
About a week or so ago, Respawn Entertainment was hosting a Q&A with fans about recent releases to Season 2 of Apex Legends, talking about the Voidwalker and how previously they had kind of fucked up by charging way too much for skins, basically loot boxes. Fans were not happy. They were very aggressive with the devs. At one point, a dev actually kind of was just lightening up, trying to make a joke, saying, all of our friends are free. Not all of our friends. All of our fans are freeloaders. This was in jest. He was being endearing, but Reddit, being Reddit, blew their shit. They were not happy being called a bunch of freeloaders. And how do you guys feel about the existence of loot boxes and whatnot in a free game?
Okay, so this started with the Iron Crown event. You know, a lot of cool skins came out for a lot of, you know, known characters. You know, Pathfinder, Lifeline, whatever, etc. You know, and they offered, you know, in-game currencies, you know, challenges you could do to get the currency, like little crown, you know, but the amount you were getting and the amount you would have to play, you know, wouldn't guarantee, though you would get, you know, a loot box, wouldn't guarantee that you would get the skin you'd want, right? And the main outcry was, well, we can't buy these skins with real money individually because we gotta just pretty much buy these $7, you know, crown event things and hope we get it. And it got to the point where people were doing the math and pointing out, I have to spend at least $124 just to at least see if I get the skin I want. And one person did spend that much money and didn't even get the skin they wanted.
And then 2 days later, they released them that you can buy each one for $14.99, essentially.
Yes. And then they put them in rotation. But even then, and they send out like, oh, well, now that we've done this, it's fine, right? Still not addressing the main root of the problem. They're overpricing, though it is a free game, yes, and you can argue like, oh, well, they're trying to fund their game so they can come out with more, you know, stuff. At the same time, people are still spending a lot of money in itself on the game with the battle pass that comes out, you know.
Have you spent any money on Apex?
I have. See, and that's like the thing is like I see
How much
I
money
play
have
a lot.
each of you guys spent? I just want to.
I want a fair guesstimate. I've spent maybe $20 a paycheck. since I started playing. Not a paycheck. I'd say between $80 and $110. So probably somewhere between there.
That's not too extreme, but
In the time I've been playing, which has been since it's released, I've spent at least $80 on the game. And that's just, I wanted to get 10 loot boxes. I got an Iron Crown event skin.
Yeah, I bought the Pathfinder skin. That shit is badass.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. Like, agreed. Like, loot boxes to an extent, like, yeah. But at the same time, they should give, like, clear and concise, like...
Well, Respawn was also very getting dragged a lot because they are a subsidiary of EA. So everyone was... You are just EA. You don't have control of this project. It's very clear. And they were saying that's why the pricing scale is as extreme as it was. I agree with Respawn. I don't give a shit. As someone who plays the game a ton, I understand. I don't have to buy that loot box. I don't have to have that skin. That skin doesn't actually change the game in any way, shape, or form. It is purely cosmetic.
I.e. selfish reasons, because you just want to look at a nice skin, you know? And I agree with Seth. Like, I was kind of the same way, you know, looking at this. I was like, oh, that sucks. It's a little expensive. Oh, well, so I just won't buy it, you know?
I have played Apex, but not enough to like. I didn't go into buying shit. I played a couple matches. Anyway, kind of my opinion on it is I don't see anything wrong with publishers choosing to charge more for added content or charge real money for added content. I don't really see a problem with that,
except when it changes the game.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. When it changes the balance of the game. Sorry. But for just cosmetics, I don't really see any problem with that.
Take that, Josh.
Well, okay. Okay, but then there's like DLC too. So the DLC, when you're talking about DLC, that widely changes the game.
So you'd expect to pay money for something like that.
But so we can't just say if it changes the game.
Most publishers are now giving DLC for free. And only charging cosmetics because they have found when you divide your player base, you actually lose money.
When you're talking about multiplayer games, though,
even multiplayer games.
Single player games.
That's a different story.
But we're just right now, I guess we're just talking about competitive online multiplayer.
Yeah, no, like Witcher 3, for example, I bought all those expansion packs, all those DLCs. Yeah. I mean, that's a completely different.
I think that charging for that extra content is fine.
Yeah, because it's beyond.
When it comes to cosmetics and multiplayer games, I think charging for that content is fine. Again, yeah, just if it changes the balance of the game, then no, that's not very cool. I think that even people, because then the rich kids would just. I mean, I've played games that were pay to win before, and the rich kids tend to just have better odds, even if they're not as good of players. Usually, being a better player matters more. But, I think that, yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm Seth getting up randomly kind of distracted me.
I guess what people had issues with. Despite.
So loot boxes, on the other hand. Okay, so if you're charging money for content, you can't also offer the same content and loot boxes. That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh, I see. Because you're kind of like cheating.
Those, I don't think that is a good idea, because then it's like, oh, you can pay for a loot box and get kind of any random kind of thing for real money. You should just be able to buy it outright. Like, this is what I want. Let me buy it outright. And then offer different things for loot boxes that you can get with either points or real money. I don't know. But I don't think you should have the same stuff where you can buy something with points and get it in loot box fashion. Is that what you guys are talking about? Like, is that what's happening?
What had happened was, so you have this, like, let's say you play a certain character, right? And there's an event skin there. So with this event came an event shop, right? Where you could purchase, said skin with, event coins. But you couldn't buy that specific skin at all individually.
That was was Apex's
before
biggest problem.
Before the change. So,
they changed it 2 days later.
Yeah.
Let's get that
because
out there.
people were pointing out
Okay.
all
So
this.
now how is it?
So
Sorry.
You're good.
the change essentially is what they should have done in the first place.
Made it so you can still individually buy skins, or you could gamble. It's not gambling,
Mhm.
so you can gamble to maybe get the skin you want for cheaper.
And to be fair, they did offer challenges where you could get a loot box once you
Yeah,
complete it for free.
They were hard as fuck challenges, though. I will say
I did
that.
do it, and to be fair, I got the Pathfinder skin. So
make the new shit reasonably, like, make it like $2-3 to get like a skin.
but it's not. The skins are like $20.
That's what I'm saying, though. Make it a reasonable price. They're gonna make more money off of it that way when it's affordable by everyone.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
and
would
then
buy
take-
more skins. I would
I
buy
would-
way
I
more
would-
skins.
Well,
if
they
were like
make more money.
$8 a pop.
They make more money with loot boxes.
Yes, they do.
That's
Yeah, they do.
that's the thing, though. But if you want to be moral about it, but still make
What
a
I
good
think-
amount of money, make them cheaper, like
I
$5
think-
being the most expensive skin, and make the like lesser cool skins, make them like $2-3, and then you'll have like everyone, almost all the players, buying a few skins here and there. The one, like that's how
Especially
League of
the
Legends
ones that
kinda
have to
ran
go
it,
through
and-
their parents to buy skins.
Well, I mean, I feel their scale is off, and it's off because of EA. I think their scale is getting better. I feel I don't know. Have you played any of the Void Walker, the newer?
I have. Yeah.
That scale is pretty good. It's still not perfect. It still is a little expensive to get the skins, but they're doing sales. They're selling older skins are getting half off deals, shit like that.
They added like a dev, tracker right on the lobby so you can see what the devs are up to and stuff to keep more in touch.
They are doing the right moves, but the problem is Apex is already much smaller than Fortnite and stuff. It's got to be real careful with its audience.
Mhm.
I mean, everyone can't compare themselves to Fortnite.
Apex was really trying to.
No, I know, but it's a huge, but Fortnite's a huge outlier. It's like Minecraft, and I mean, not quite as popular as Minecraft, but it's very much like it. It just got really popular.
I think the ideal way for them to do it is when a new skin comes out, they can do the $15. Here, this is the most expensive this skin and will ever be, the $15, whatnot, and then here's some limited time loot boxes that will probably might roll your skin. It might roll a fucking voice line. Who cares? And these loot boxes, these loot boxes are $2-3, and they give you the odds of what this legendary item is. They give you the odds of what an epic item is. I mean, it's not. We were having this discussion with Josh yesterday. It is not gambling. It is. This is the.
We'll have to have a gambling discussion.
I know.
Later,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
I want Josh to be on this.
Same here.
To discuss that. Then that's kind of unfortunate because he is the only one that really disagrees with us.
And what Josh is doing though is he's
equating prizes to gambling.
He's taking two different definitions of the word gambling and combining them into one thing. When what we're talking about is
it's a gamble, but it's not gambling.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but he's being like, oh well, gambling. I'm taking definition 1 and definition 2 from the dictionary, merging them, which you can't do. You can't do that, Josh. Okay. Anyway, but I was talking to David about it a little bit, and I don't know if you caught the end of it or not. But what I was saying was, I don't think it's okay to offer the same prizes and loot boxes as offering for a set amount of money outside of loot boxes. I think that they should be different things that are available, because when you do that, then you're just you're just encouraging people to go for loot boxes.
Yeah, because then you satisfy both people. You satisfy
Not
guys.
really.
You do. You satisfy the guy that wants to go.
But then,
well, I only want to spend $4. Maybe I get this cool skin.
But then it's pay to win on the gambling side of it. I mean,
I prefer that myself. I'm Yes, I'm not a fan of random prizes. I agree with Josh. I would buy booster packs for fucking Pokemon when I was a kid, and I would fucking be pissed because I got 3 energies and fucking four basic ass Pokemon. I mean, yeah, I get that. I don't like that shit. So for me, I would rather be like, okay, I want, like, for example, the Pathfinder skin. I wanted that Pathfinder skin. I know I don't have time to put into playing the game to get it. I know I don't have time to, I know the odds in actually rolling it wasn't that great. It was only like 10% for a legendary, or maybe it was 15%. I can't remember. But I went, fuck, I can't get it. And then 2 days later, it was available to buy straight.
And honestly,
I bought it
I was
straight.
in the same thing. And for me, I see it like if you have the money to do it and you can, I mean, just why? I mean, like at the same time, why not? You know, because for me, like I knew I wanted that skin, and I was bummed. I was like, crap, like I probably won't be able to
because
get
it's
it.
a badass skin.
Exactly. It's like it's like I want to. I work too much. You know, it's like, but at the same time, once it was, I was like, oh, I can buy it straight out. You know, and I will. You know.
But you disagree. You think people who roll the loot boxes should have some additional incentive?
I think it should be different. So maybe not like cooler. It should just be different. It should be something that you can't just outright buy. Because, I mean, if you could, I don't know. That's how I feel. Okay. And I'm coming more from a background of playing like Hearthstone. I don't know if you guys have ever played Hearthstone.
I know, played a lot of Hearthstone.
But those packs and all of that does change the game drastically. The only thing that doesn't is the card backs, which don't fucking really matter at all when it comes to the game. No one really pays that much attention to that. I mean, it looks kind of cool, and after about fucking 3-4 days, you're over it.
Yeah,
and if that,
you just ignore it at that point.
Yeah, it's just extra colors that don't really.
Yeah.
They don't really translate into what the game is.
Because you're more focused on like the cards.
I spent a lot of money on Hearthstone. More than Seth has spent on Apex. But I played it for a lot longer than he's played Apex. So
that's what my face on.
Oh shit, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
I've seen that before and I just didn't even.
Just really beat up.
It's cool. Anyway, that's a cool wallet, dude.
It came with a free card pack.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Oh dude, man, it's.
Was it automatically good shit?
Yeah.
You ever gotten 2 legendaries in it? Anyway. Dude, one time I did.
Dude, we gotta play.
I haven't played in so long. I think Goblins and Gnomes was the last thing. Maybe.
I was getting really heavy into it. On PC.
That's way off topic. But what I wanted to say about it was that the card, if you have better cards that you can make better builds with, make better, like decks with, it does change the game. And so that was really frustrating sometimes when you would, spend a lot of money on these things. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. You couldn't outright buy any of it, but just that it was all random. It was all random. That was annoying to me. I wanted to just be able to be like, I just want this. And what you could do is you could eventually break down cards and get
like
dust,
get it, yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. But I feel like that's the only way to do it in that game. But in like a game where it's just cosmetics, you could offer literally different things for different types of purchasing or whatever, different types of acquirement.
And to be fair, like Apex does offer, because like they have a different type of currency. It's like the red coins.
They have 3 currencies in Apex. There's the
crafting
materials. There's the coins, and then there's red.
Which you just get through just playing.
Yeah,
you just get through playing.
You get, it's like XP, but that you spend. I can't remember what the fucking red one's called.
Like, they're pretty much useless unless you have a legendary skin, because sometimes they'll offer a different variation of that skin that you can buy with that currency.
Primarily the red I've used to unlock characters.
Yeah.
That's shit I just save. That way I don't have to pay for them, because you can unlock characters that way. That is a game-changing mechanic, by the way. Characters in Apex can completely change how you play the game.
Especially if you know how to play them.
Yeah, exactly. So like Caustic. Caustic was one of the first ones I bought, and he is a completely different way of playing than any other character. I mean, Watson also, that is a completely different way of playing the game. Whereas cosmetics don't change anything. So cosmetics are primarily bought with build coins, which are the blue ones,
Crafting material.
crafting materials. Thank you. And then or through Apex bucks, the gold. What I hate that is one thing I've always hated is you have to convert money into whatever fictional currency the games come up with. That way you don't know what the fuck you're really spending when you spend it.
And like the cheapest option to get coins, which is like $10, doesn't even get you enough to get anything really.
No, you can get 5 loot boxes.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, I think the devs responded well at first, and then they degraded poorly. They were getting mad and yelling back at fans, which is something you don't do as a dev because you're representing not just yourself,
But the company.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, but to be fair, like they were probably like to their credit trying to please the crowd.
But I think if you're like me and you enjoy a free to play game, you are a freeloader. I mean, but I don't give a shit. I'll be a freeloader
because the game is well done.
It is an extremely well crafted game. It is.
You put over $100 into that game. You're not a freeloader.
I know. I'm no longer technically a freeloader. I have paid for the game fairly.
You've paid for the game and part 2.
Yes, but I don't know. I mean, the season 1 was bullshit. Season 2 is actually good.
I mean, to go off on too much of a tangent, but there's that whole thing where they dropped making a Titanfall 3 just to release.
Titanfall 3 is apparently still in development.
Lies. Well, don't hurt me.
It is apparently still in development. It's being worked on by. These are all fucking rumors. I don't have any insight. This is all just shit I've read. Because one, they're working on the Star Wars game because that was their primary task. So the majority of Respawn staff is working on that. There's a second team that did Apex that's now gotten larger because of how big Apex became. And then there's a third team apparently still working on Titanfall 3. And actually, with the latest Voidwalker, they confirmed that Apex is in the same universe as Titanfall.
And you know what? That kind of does excite me because recent leaks have shown that like early events they're gonna add in pilots, some pilot characters.
So yeah, they 100% confirmed with. There's a video showing Wraith. She goes all through the lab.
IMC. Yeah. IMC containment lab. And she just, you see it even there. They start hinting it, like you start seeing
It just sounds like they're doing the fucking Marvel thing and
you know what? You can
everything.
You can eat my shorts, Tony.
It's the shit. I love that they're including Titanfall because I agree with you. Titanfall was one of the best, most underrated games to ever come out.
Really cool.
No, agreed. It was underrated. Yeah, dude, Titanfall's so much fun.
It was.
It really was.
I thought it
really was.
It got highly critically.
Critically, it did amazing. Sales, it did shit.
Let me put it this way: nobody on PC can play Titanfall 1 anymore because of this game-breaking glitch that some kid exploited, and literally all servers crashed. And since the game is practically dead at this point because it's so old, Respawn nobody's keeping up the servers.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, this doesn't have the little peel front. Why does this one not? It's Nabisco as well. Here. We'll make a lot of noise for a little bit of time. Hopefully we don't lose all the viewers.
Alright, cool.
Sorry guys. Oh, there we go. You got the cookies open. So, what were we talking about?
Oh my.
It doesn't matter, right? I mean, are we done with this topic?
I think so. Because we really want to get into it more, but we need Josh here.
Yeah, that would have been very helpful. So let's kind of move on to the next thing. So we're other than that, those are our two main topics that we're going to talk about. I did want to kind of recap a little bit, not recap. I wanted to do a little bit of an update on some of the things we talked about in the last couple of weeks. Actually, was it in the same week? Okay, so we talked about the protests in Hong Kong. No, it wasn't. It was 2 separate weeks. Protests in Hong Kong, and we talked about the what's the other one? The Dave Chappelle special. And there's a little bit of an update to each of those. As far as the protests in Hong Kong go, So the main kind of thing that started the whole protest was they were trying to implement a bill into Hong Kong's law that would say criminals could be extradited to other countries for committing a crime in another country, specifically being China, which that's
mainland.
yeah. So basically, China. It seemed like China is trying to get criminals, or okay. We could go way into it, but the whole point is they completely withdrew the bill. That's no longer happening. It's done. The chief executive Lam, she has apologized, and seems like she's genuinely trying to. To me, it seems like she's genuinely trying to actually listen to the people after fucking these ridiculous protests. Though, I mean, she was very adamant for a long time, and I think that now she's realizing, fuck, there's no way of winning this, like, against the people. Like, they're not going to stop. They keep going. And they're still going. I mean, as far as I'm aware, the protests are still going on, because they did have a couple more goals.
As of September 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So they did have a couple more goals to accomplish, and I think it's still ongoing because of that. So, and then we also talked about the Dave Chappelle special. So it was a little bit of a
Mixed.
Yeah, we had mixed.
I did
opinions on
enjoy it.
Seth hated it, but the audience loved it. Here, I'll click over to here, and let me close this, and then we'll click on this. Okay, look at that. So over here we got the critic score, 25% boo, and then over here we got the audience score, 99%. Come on, everyone! Yeah, woo, yeah. Okay.
Well, and did you see that comparison? There's the one social justice warrior comic who has like 100%. I can't remember her name,
No.
or his name, or their name.
Sir.
What are you putting that at?
It was a Reddit post.
Okay.
I don't remember her name. Their name there. That's the easiest way. But that one had 100% critic score and then like 10% audience score.
So the special, it's called Sticks and Stones. I want to bring that up again because that is so important to everything he's talking about. It's, if you know the old little saying, it goes, "Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me," or whatever, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was, dude, I'm just up here just saying words. Like, you guys need to just get over it. To me, that's how I interpreted the title of
You know what
his
I've
special.
heard a lot since we discussed it? I've heard a lot of people say this special was anti-trans, and I rewatched it since then. The only trans joke is actually a truth. It's not even a joke. Trans people are treated way different by the LGBT community than anyone else. And he didn't say, "Oh, trans are weird, trans people have problems," or anything like that. He just said, "You're treated differently."
Yeah.
And that's
He
one of
just
the
made jokes
number
about
one.
that.
That's one of the number one complaints I've heard about that special from SJWs. That is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that. I think that overall, I mean, we can look here at the fucking.
Oh, the audience
score.
loved it.
Everyone loved it. I
Do
mean,
you
it's.
think people loved it just because it's Dave Chappelle?
There's a chunk.
I'm sure. I mean, I had a bias going into it. I was already gonna. I don't know if I would have already liked it. Like, if he went up there and just wasn't funny, as Dan and Para and Seth put it.
Fuck you. I didn't say that.
If he just went up there and the jokes just weren't landing, which I'm not sure is possible for Chappelle, but if that did happen, I would have been like, oh, well, it kind of sucked. Like, I've watched stand-ups on Netflix and on HBO and stuff that I was just like in Comedy Central that I was just like, it's just not. It wasn't that funny, and maybe I don't get the comedy, and that's fine. But I did have a bias going into it. It was Dave Chappelle. I already know what to expect, kind of, and so I just But if a comedian I did really like had something that was just not funny, I'd be like, it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's basically all on those kind of updates. Just want to say that, it's pretty clear that I don't think most people are that offendable. And I think that the critics
are playing to a vocal minority.
Yeah, they're just trying to not get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to come up in this critic world, this movie critic world where it's competitive, and if they say the wrong thing,
coming soon.
If they say
the
they
Seth
like
Carlson
Chappelle,
movie critic.
If they say they like Chappelle, they could get canceled on Twitter or whatever.
Yo, we should come back after the movie and do a late night synopsis.
We will talk about it. Do you guys really want to come back late tonight and do it?
I'd do it 100%.
Okay, we can do that. Okay. If anyone's gonna tune in at like 2 a.m, we'll do a whole little thing, and then Josh doesn't have to be here and get a bunch of spoilers. So
yeah, it's true.
And we'll give a spoiler alert in the actual podcast. That way, Okay. But yeah. Does anyone want to say anything else? I mean, I think this is the part of the podcast where we just kind of chill and we just talk about whatever for a little bit, for a few minutes.
For a few minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
I was going to say, me and David both came up with new jokes today, but I feel like his wouldn't be as good for everyone because his was just talking shit to me, basically. But
it was funny.
I came up with a new joke, so Seth, you wanna be my dummy for this?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so hold on, sorry. Knock knock. I fucking hate Seth. That fucking bitch. Oh. Were you there the whole time?
Yeah.
Are you just standing behind your door?
This is a good joke. You fucking
That's kind of weird, man. Are you? Did you hear? You didn't hear anything, did you?
No.
Okay.
Dick.
I was kind of just saying how.
Yes, and.
Okay.
So why is it funny, Tony?
Why is it funny?
It's not why.
I'm not going to explain
why
it's funny.
It's yes, and.
Yes, and.
That's how you do improv. Yes, and.
Okay, so.
And my new Martian.
Why?
I have no idea. I'm so
yes,
lost.
And.
And my new Martian. Okay. Anyone else have anything to talk about? I mean, we're going to watch it tonight. Going with a pretty big group, actually. So we got us three. We've got my fiance, Devaney. We've got Seth's girlfriend, Heidi. We've got Ty, who's been on the podcast. And anyone else?
Kita.
Yeah, okay. And then we got Kita and Sean, who I don't think you've met before, but they're going to be coming too. So
I have no idea who those people
I
are.
haven't met them either.
It's going to be a weird meeting people at a movie is always weird, I feel like, because then you
Just
like
sit
meet
in silence for a few hours.
Yeah, and then at the end you maybe talk to them for a little bit, and then it's like, okay, everyone go home.
And you never see them again.
Usually not, yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna have a hot take tonight at 2 on it. Fucking hot take.
I'm gonna be so fucking tired. I'm gonna go take a nap like right now, right after this. I've got time.
You got time.
Yeah, I'm gonna take like a good 30-minute nap.
We're all gonna sit in your living room
and just kind of watch TV.
All you need is a 30-minute nap.
Bullshit! I took a
pretty tired.
4-hour nap.
Oh, I know.
Dude.
That's better. That's
shit.
better. But when you take a 30-minute nap, it's like super refreshing.
No, it
like,
can be.
It's
But
crazy.
Yeah.
But
that 30 minutes of shut eye is actually pretty great.
I mean, it's gonna probably keep me from falling asleep in the movie because it's gonna be a long movie.
It's like 2 hours.
And if there is an interest, I am an AMC Stubs member, not Stubs, AMC A-list member, even better. So I'm actually considering doing a regular movie review because I watch bullshit because I don't feel like I'm paying for it.
You should start up a channel where you just do movie reviews.
I'm fucking down as fuck.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
I think that's being announced here live on the podcast.
You heard it here.
So I'm gonna say though that I don't know. Yeah. Oh no. What I was gonna say was I believe it's 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It's a long movie.
Yeah, it's long. We're gonna get there at 10:30. We're not gonna get out till after 1.
Yeah.
It's a long movie. Fuck yeah, let's party.
Oh yeah.
That's why the podcast isn't gonna happen until like 2. So
tune in.
Yeah.
Please.
It's gonna I think it's gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So I listened to I listened to the audiobook of it. I got through the first 2 chapters, so I've
listened to the entire audiobook of it.
I should
Humble
be
brag.
up to date.
So I'll be real specific.
I should be up to date on what's going to happen in the chapter 2 though. I got through the second chapter. I mean, I feel like I watched the first movie too.
No.
I think everyone
it's
here
a TV
has
series.
I'm saying
actual...
I watched the
this
prequel to this one coming out or whatever you want to call it, the initial one, but I never watched the TV series. I didn't even know about it till I was an adult, and I had seen scenes and stuff from it when I was younger, but I didn't even know what it was. And then like when I grew up, we were talking about like it and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, like cool. And then it turns out there's this whole TV series. I was like, oh shit,
it's
weird.
Pennywise is one of the biggest horror.
And then the actor, what's his name?
Tim Curry.
Yeah, I guess he's like a big horror.
Yeah,
dude,
Tim
right?
Curry
Like,
is huge in horror.
I don't know that much about horror. I honestly used to not like horror at all. And it's still not my favorite genre. But I think around the time I started watching horror movies was when a lot of the really shitty horror was popular.
Well, and you're a guy that likes comedy. You enjoy a good comedy, shit like that. There's studies showing that literally the same responses that trigger when you're watching a comedy trigger when you're watching a horror movie. It's a similar response. Good horror and good comedy almost line up side by side.
Okay, so there's a movie out right now, and I'm failing to think of the name of it, but it's about a man and woman getting married and then them having to play a game or something.
Oh yeah, we want to.
You haven't watched it.
We haven't watched it.
I was just gonna ask you.
It's hide and seek.
Hide and seek. Yeah. That movie looks like a fucking dark comedy to me.
It does.
It's labeled as a horror on AMC's app,
and it's AMC Gold List or whatever
it's not Gold List. It's like
it's like whatever they call
critical
it.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, they're
critical masterpiece, but it's like
these are high class movies.
Yeah. But I heard it was really good.
See, I've heard mixed reviews, and
really?
I want to see it. We'll probably see it tomorrow.
My friend told me it was really good. He's not into horror, but he said it was hilarious, and I was like, dude, that movie from the trailer looks hilarious. It does not look scary. It just looks funny.
It looks hilarious.
It does look funny.
And I like the fucking really
scene. The scene where the girl doesn't know how to use the gun
and
keeps shooting the fucking
like,
maids.
Nancy or whatever.
Really?
But there's a few little like things throughout the trailer, and I'm like, dude, this is like, what's the other one that came out really recently with that? There was Jordan Peele. Not really recently.
Us?
Not Us. No, before that. Because Us was also a comedy, but
I didn't like
it was
Us.
more of a. And we've talked about this.
I know.
I mean, we haven't talked about it on the podcast, but we don't really need to. That's gonna take way too long.
I know.
But
I didn't get it.
no. What's the other movie?
The White Family one. The one.
Get Out.
Yeah. Get out.
Yeah.
So That's what this other movie, this one is
Reminds
makes
you
me
of.
thinking of. Yeah, it's like it's gonna mostly be a comedy, but it's gonna have like horror elements. There's gonna be like stuff that's creepy and what have you. But
You want to remember bad horror? Go watch fucking Hellfest.
yeah, I mean that's true. There still
That's
is a lot
fucking
of
awful.
really. That's not. I mean that's more recent. But
The most recent bad horror I've seen was Hellfest. The other one was The fucking Nun, and people keep praising The Nun as being scary, and I was like, "This was."
I really wanted to see The Nun because
It was one of the stupidest horror movies I'd ever seen.
They advertised it as being really scary and being
And it
like
wasn't.
too controversial for
One, they showed the nun like the whole movie, so she
annoying.
so you lose any kind of fear of it.
Yeah.
So you
Fear
see,
of the unknown is like the best way to make people actually scared.
and that's why the nun used to be scary because you used to only get a glimpse of it in the other movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot that's part of the Conjuring universe, right?
verse.
Yeah.
See, they're doing it too.
The Conjureverse.
Gosh.
Controverse.
Gonna be like the Marvel movie of horror films.
But yeah,
That's what they're kind of trying to do.
Yeah.
And then
that's just fucking it's nuts.
they're also they were talking about doing like one with the world. I don't know if it's World of Monsters, but like
The
Frankenstein.
The Dooku.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. The Dooku.
Frankenstein, Dracula, all that stuff. Yeah. So what's going on with that? I haven't heard anything
fell
about
apart.
that. Oh, that sucks.
Because Tom Cruise's Mummy didn't do well.
Oh, but
That was the first one to be a part of it.
I heard that movie was really good.
I've heard it's really good too. I haven't seen it.
It's probably like a Titanfall of movies where like it just didn't do well in the box office because people
It
when you
released
see
at
the
a
Mummy,
really weird time. It released like in April.
Well, yeah, but when you put Tom Cruise, it shouldn't matter like when it releases.
When you release like a horror-esque in April, that's weird.
It is kind of weird.
They release like good horror movies throughout the whole year. I mean,
I know they do, but
Us
I mean,
came out in
well,
like,
I mean, it came out in like May.
yeah.
There was like a Christmas horror that came out this summer. I think last summer. I don't know.
Christmas horror?
Yeah, like a Christmas horror movie.
There was like a really weird timed thing like that, huh?
Yeah.
Was it a
Was it
Christmas
the
horror, or was it-
Krampus?
No, Krampus came out around Christmas. But they had I can't
There
remember.
was something that maybe I feel like they just like pushed it back too much, and then the studio was like, "No, you guys got to release this shit." It's like, okay, it's June. There was something like that where it was just like so weird, or maybe that was planned that they just wanted people to be like, "Why the fuck is this coming out right now?" Like, and they thought it was gonna go viral because I don't know, maybe that was part of the plan. I don't know, but what were some of the movies I watched when I was younger that were just like shitty horror? That was just like, not only was it not scary, but like the premise was overdone. Like
Any of the
You
Chucky
know-
sequels.
I was gonna say a
Well,
Chucky,
yeah,
yeah,
but are
but those
those
were meant to be
horror?
humorous.
the first one is meant to be kind of scary.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, the fucking Chucky remake, worst movie I'd ever seen.
Really?
Oh, did that come out already?
Oh, it's been
yeah.
out for like a while, right?
Mark Hamill was really good as Chucky.
Oh,
But
yeah.
It was
okay.
not good.
Huh.
The movie itself, the kid actors were terrible.
Well,
Aubrey
you can't
Plaza,
expect
like
good-
that was still fun, but
I'm sorry. There's very, 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 very few children who can act.
there are no. I agree. It's
I
just
think there are methods to kind of make them seem like they're better actors than they are.
there's
and I think
there's
that really-
directors that
yeah.
are good at getting children actors to work right,
Yeah, but they are not,
and they
good
don't
actors.
work for Disney Channel.
And there's some. No, yeah. There are very few good, but there are some that are just they are talented actors from a young age, and it's really really rare.
Anna Cat from fucking I don't know the girl's name from she's in the new Tarantino.
I thought that the girl that was in Little Miss Sunshine was good. In pretty much everything she was in. I can't think of her name right now, but she's. Oh, okay. You're talking
Yeah.
about the little girl in.
They say that was the
But-
best
but-
acting I've ever seen.
But
She had-
Tarantino, I think, is one of those directors. We don't
Yeah.
know. Have you seen her in
Well,
anything else?
Yeah, she's in a
Okay.
sitcom regularly,
Okay.
and she's always funny in that.
Okay. Well, that's a sitcom. Those are just automatically hilarious.
What? I gotta ask Heidi because she loves that show. It's like American Housewife, I think is what it's called,
Mhm.
and it's fucking hilarious.
American Housewife.
That movie, Zombieland.
Oh, Zombieland
Zombieland?
2 is coming out.
Yeah, but that's the girl that was also in Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, now
she's
she's gonna
just-
be a teenager.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if the acting, if she continued like to progress her acting, or if she would just was like fuck it, like 'cause that does happen. Like I feel
What's
like
her name that played?
Chloe Grace
I think
Moretz
I
or
think
whatever.
girls are better actors than
Probably.
boys.
Probably
Like because the
Yeah.
girl that plays Hit Girl, she's
Yeah,
really
Chloe
good.
Grace Moretz or
Yeah,
whatever her name is.
she did a lot more than
That
just
could be wrong.
those,
No, yeah, but
and she was good in
in
almost
the
everything.
recent stuff she's been in, it's like
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
might not age as well into it, but
I think that they might. I think that a lot of it might be like they have a few characters they're able to do, and then like
they play it
they
out.
have to, yeah, and then they either have to grow up and like actually practice acting, like and get better at portraying other characters, or they have to kind of die off or just
Retire
some
on your
people-
vast 12.
Some people just kind of can live off of that.
I would.
They can play the same character and everything for
Yeah, Ben Stiller.
ever. No. What? Fucking dodgeball?
That's okay. His Goofy movies are the
Fucking
only.
Meet the Fockers?
No, that's the same character, just awkward loser.
Okay, what about
Don't
what's the-
the model one. Fuck. Well,
Yeah,
Blue Steel, Zoolander,
Zoolander.
and Dodgeball. Those are the only movies where he plays a character that isn't.
That's
I'm
not
just
true.
an
I'll
awkward
have to-
loser.
I'll have to look more
That's
into it.
true.
But his best movies are when he's like a really crazy character.
Yeah,
But
like
he does that-
Zoolander is amazing. I
he-
love that movie.
He's like that in more movies. I think that he was
He was
trying to
typecasting.
be and like a little more serious, but still funny.
But yeah.
And Gaylord Fokker is not the same character as
He is the
like-
awkward, weird.
just being
dude.
awkward doesn't mean you're the same character as.
If every character
You
is
can-
awkward and kind
It's
of,
not. It's not in the same way that like Michael Cera is almost literally the same character in everything he's in. That's it's different. Like he
yeah, but Michael Cera's great at it.
plays different characters. He's got different like.
He does. He has some range, just like Nicolas Cage
He's got-
has some range.
he's
That's
got-
true, yeah.
Nicolas Cage is great. I'm gonna convince you guys that Nicolas Cage is great.
You know what? I saw
fun.
Into the Spider-Verse. I believe you.
Fucking-
We
let's go back to fucking Kick-Ass. I mean,
No, that is an amazing role of his. Fucking, he's great as
watch Mandy. That movie's fucking nuts, but he's great in it. And it,
Oh, and then what's his Christmas movie where he was originally had chose the path to be wealthy and then
I don't
was
know.
a lot. It's a really good movie.
Huh. Well, people say that they think that Nick Cage is like just a fucking like he wants to just do like these crazy weird different things, and he commits to it 100%. Like he maybe not be like as method as like Johnny Depp or someone, but what he does he commits to, and a lot of it's like really
So,
like
did you enjoy?
Vampire's Kiss, and I mean
Did you enjoy Knowing?
I don't even know what that is.
That was the end of the world apocalypse one, where his kids become these. I don't remember if they're his kids or if they're just one's his kid and the other's not. But basically, they get picked up by aliens and become the new Adam and Eve, and the
Oh.
world catches on fire because of a solar flare.
That sounds awesome.
And well, that's just the end of the movie. The whole movie is the adventure to getting them to the cluster. It is his kids because there are other kids on. I remember
Well,
fucking knowing that movie.
National Treasure was great.
National Treasure is
National
great,
Treasure 2 was obviously the better of.
but what about
I haven't
National
seen
Treasure
either.
3?
Is there a 3?
No,
Wait. Are you sure? I think they might have made it.
There is
but
no
no Nicolas Cage, but the other guy.
What other guy?
There might.
His sidekick.
I never watched the movie.
Oh, you're right. There is.
Did they?
Are
you looking
no,
it up?
it's not on here.
I feel
but-
like they did that. Am I wrong about that? It was like a straight to DVD kind of deal. Yeah, National Treasure. Okay, well that might be like. Okay, no, there was not. There was not. So. Why Disney refuses to release National Treasure? Is it already made and they're just not releasing it? Like, no, this will
so
never
bad.
happen.
It's so bad. We just have to keep it.
No, they're like fucking.
It's a national treasure. They can't release it.
All right. Well,
It's called The Family Man. That's literally what it's
The
called.
Family Man is the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Face Off.
With what? Face Off. Yeah. What about Face Off?
The Family Man is probably one of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies. He was originally he had a path in life that basically there was a fork in the road. One path led to him becoming a fucking multimillionaire stockbroker, whatever. I can't remember what. The other was the family life. He actually just a tire salesman. He married his high school sweetheart. They had a good family. Actual Nick Cage had lived the CEO, stockbroker bullshit life. Woke up one morning in the other life, basically like they traded places. It's a great fucking movie. It's wonderful around Christmas time. Give it a try. 9 out of 10.
So what I think happened with Nick Cage was he got
religious. He got
really?
He's in a lot of weird religious movies.
Oh well. What I was gonna say though is I think that he did Ghost Rider, and then everyone just started shitting on him.
His Ghost Rider was bad.
Because Ghost Rider was awful, and then they made a sequel.
I know, they're like, you know what? Let's do it now.
But and I get that Ghost Rider was awful. He was not the right choice for the role.
I like that Deadpool was one of the related links for Nicolas Cage.
But it was National Treasure is what I searched, and people also search for Deadpool 3. I think it's because it's unreleased movies. Anyway, and yeah, like what's the? Because I think before that he was a pretty. I think that people thought he was a pretty good actor, albeit kind of weird. But what do you guys think on that? You think that he cared? Do you think that Ghost Rider ruined his? It didn't ruin his career.
I think
He's still
Ghost
like,
Rider made his career.
Ghost Rider did make the meme that he is now.
No, okay, yeah. Then he started getting memed.
Yeah.
He started getting memed like crazy,
And that's the highest honor one can achieve.
yeah.
that is
Oh yeah.
true. Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
no, that is. But I think that's why people. I feel like
I'm going to
at least
steal the
that's why people
Declaration of
say that-
Independence.
I think that's why people talk shit about Nick Cage is because he's a meme more than anything.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite memes. I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I just fucking
Yeah, just stole the Declaration of Independence.
there's the Vampire's Kiss one where he's like doing the real crazy like.
Oh yeah, he's doing the real crazy.
I mean, I can't even do it like.
You want this cake?
So yeah, let's go ahead and shut this down. Thanks guys for watching. Make sure if you're watching this on Twitch, you follow us and share the content. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, subscribe and also comment and like all those things. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Movie reviews coming soon.
And we'll be back next week with another episode of the World's Smartest People Discuss.
It Chapter 2 tonight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So see ya.
Catch you 2 a.m.